Hi Foods 101. Today I'm going to show you what I'm making for supper tonight, just as not so much an assignment or a demonstration for you, but something that you can do if you're bored at home and you have these ingredients and you feel like, hey, I want to make some homemade pizza today. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing to make my homemade pizza crust, and I'm going to show you the process. So camera person, will you come over here? Hubs is behind the camera for me. So the first thing that you've got to do is you're going to take 3 ingredients and you're going to add them together. We learned about leavening agents, and so yeast is the one that you use for pizza crust. So in my liquid measuring cup, I have 3/4 of a cup of water, and it needs to be anywhere from like 90 to 110 degrees. So I'm going to double check it. Okay, looks good. 107. So if you have it way too hot, it's gonna kill the yeast and it's not gonna work. And if you have it too cold, it's not gonna activate the yeast, so it's also not gonna work. So we're gonna put that yeast in there. 1 teaspoon and 1/4. I only have 1/8 that I could find, so 2/8 to make 4. And then we need 1 tablespoon of sugar, because yeast really like sugar. So we're gonna mix that a little bit, and then you just let it sit, and it'll start to get really foamy. So we're gonna let that hang out for a little while. All right, so while that is starting to get really foamy, we're gonna measure out our flour. So part of this recipe that's really important is that you have to sift the flour so that it's not super dense. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with like a really, really hard dough. So we're gonna grab some bread flour. And we need 2 1/4 cups of this. So I'm gonna put some into my sifter. Kind of fill that up until I feel like I have a little more than a cup. And then I need to sift it into the cup. There we go. Okay, so my sifter works like this. You just have to squeeze it. When I get closer.
I did already.
Okay. So I just have to squeeze this thing a whole bunch of times. And it's sifting it into this cup. And this is just gonna give you really, really fine, fluffy flour. And if you don't do this, it's not 100% terrible. However, it's gonna make the dough that much more fluffy and soft instead of being like really crunchy and dense. So it just depends on what you want. If you can't find a sifter at home, you can just fluff it up really well with a fork before you put it in the cup. So we're gonna go 1 cup. And sift again. Okay, so there's 2 1/4. Okay, now we're gonna check in on our yeast and water and sugar magic. Look at how puffy that got. A whole bunch of foam on top. So that's how we know it's activated and it's working. Ooh, lost this piece. Okay, so flour's done. Then we need a 1.5 teaspoons of salt and a little wild flour here. So 1.5 teaspoons salt, and And then the same for some olive oil. We need 1.5 teaspoons of olive oil too. Before I put the olive oil in there, I'm gonna stir the salt into the flour so nobody gets a big bite of salt. And their pizza crust. It's a 50-50 shot. It would be you or me. There's only 2 of us here. You can talk to me if you. You don't have to be silent, camera person. Alright, so we got 1 teaspoon of oil and 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. So that's all ready to go. Now we're going to dump in the yeast. And we'll knead it a little bit. So this is nice and foamy, still warm. So I'm just gonna mix this until it forms a dough, and then I gotta get my hands in there and knead it. Alright, so you guys have learned about kneading before when we did the gluten ball activity. You just kind of grab the whole piece of dough, flip it, and then push it. So fold it in half, push it down. And I just like to do this in the bowl because it's not as messy as if you put it on the counter. But if you want to do it on the counter, you do you. The trick with this is to get it into enough of a dough ball so that most of the flour is worked in, but we don't want to knead it too much because then it'll get really tough. Okay, I'm gonna work it in my hands a little bit. And there might be some flour and a little bit of the dough that's in the bottom. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. But right now I'm just kind of squeezing and I'm pulling it inward. If it starts to get sticky, grab some of that flour and work it in. Activating the elasticity of our dough so it'll stretch as big as we want it for a really big pizza pan. Okay, so now we're going to leave it alone. It should feel really soft. And it shouldn't be super sticky. Might be a little bit sticky. That's okay. So you're going to shape it into this ball shape. And then we're gonna put it in our bowl, and then we're gonna leave it alone for like 20 minutes. So this is gonna get puffier, it's gonna rise a little bit. If you wanted to, you could put this in the refrigerator overnight and you can make it the next day. Doesn't really matter. I don't like to wait that long for my pizza, so I just wait about 20 minutes and then I form it and I put my toppings on and I bake it. So we're gonna come back in about 20 minutes to see how it turned out and then put our toppings on. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. So we're gonna take a look at our dough. I put a dishcloth over it and I put it on the oven because this is a nice like warm spot. So it helps it rise a little bit more. And because it's only been 20 minutes, it's not gonna like double in size or get too puffy, but it will have puffed up a little bit so that when I bring it over here and I punch it down, it should release some of the air. So I'm gonna bring it over here by our pan. And before I touch it, I'm gonna get my pan ready. So I gotta Grab some olive oil spray, any cooking spray that you've got. Bring it over to your sink so you're not making a giant mess. Okay, we're gonna spray our pan with a stick. And then we're gonna push down the dough, get the air out of it. Take out your aggression. Okay, so it released some air, not a ton, but we're hungry, so we want to eat this pizza. All right, so I'm gonna work it with my hands a little bit, and we're going to stretch it into a bigger and bigger and bigger circle. And I'm sorry, I'm not a pizzeria expert. I can't throw it up in the air. I will probably hit my legs. So you know what to do with that. But one thing you can do is make a fist, make another fist, and then you can kind of stretch it by moving it around like this. That is the best way that I've found to kind of turn it around in a circle without actually throwing it in there. So I'm just trying to stretch it out as big as I can because I have a really big pan that I gotta cover. And it's easier if you can stretch it out before you put it on the pan. I'm kind of using my knuckles to like stretch it. And we want to avoid getting any holes. So some of these areas are getting really, really thin. So now I think it's time to put it on the pan. So we're gonna put it on the pan. And then you're just gonna use your hands to spread it out the rest of the way. Again, you got a little bit of a thin spot right there. I'm gonna like make sure that it doesn't make a hole. And we want to get this dough all the way to the edge. Okay, looks good. Now we gotta add our toppings. So we got some pizza sauce. A little can like this will get you 2 big pizzas size. So we need about half a can of pizza sauce. Okay. Spread that around. Helps us drilling by the camera. Highly recommend try this recipe at home if you can. Alright, so we got our sauce on here. It smells so good already. And I'm gonna take a whole bag of mozzarella. So this bag is 8 ounces. And we're gonna spread that on the whole pizza. Once again. Okay, and then I really like to add some sharp cheddar. This is optional, you don't have to have cheddar cheese, but I like to put some sharp cheddar on there too. About half a bag of this. Just extra cheese. Alright, then we've got whatever you want to put on as your toppings. Maybe you like veggies on your pizza, maybe you like sardines. Not my thing. In this house, we like pepperoni and pineapple. I know what you're thinking. Steffan, you're crazy. You're canceled. I can't with you anymore. But pineapple on pizza is so good. And yeah, I'm gonna use this whole thing. That's how much I like pineapple on my pizza. Apparently you're really hungry, aren't you? Hub's tummy just growled. He's been a good sport filming this video for you guys. While also being really hungry and ready for pizza. I know it's a lot of pineapple. I love pineapple on my pizza. Plus we gotta use this up, so you know. Can't be wasteful. Not during these times. Alright. So then put our pepperoni on here. If you don't eat pork, they do make turkey pepperoni so that you're not having pork on your pizza. You can put whatever you want on as your toppings. I've seen people do like ground hamburger, just like brown some hamburger and then put the crumbles on top for like a cheeseburger pizza type thing. You could do Canadian bacon, whatever you want. Chicken, all veggie, up to you. All right, so there's our pizza. Looks pretty good. We're gonna throw this in the oven and it's gonna cook for about 16 minutes, anywhere from 16 to 20 at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Here we go, and we'll be back when it's done. Are you filming yet? Oh my God, okay. So it's been about 24 minutes. Sorry, I lied. Cook anywhere from 16 to 20 minutes, but this one was being a little stubborn. So here is our glorious finished pepperoni and pineapple pizza. Oh, it looks so good. We're gonna let that cool for maybe a minute, and then we're gonna dive into it. But I'm gonna go ahead and post this recipe on Schoology. If you want to make some homemade pizza, please send me a picture of your creation. I would love to see those. But thank you for joining us for this first episode of Quarantine Kitchen with Mrs. Steffan. We will see you next time when I take my super overripe bananas and turn them into banana bread sometime this week. But anyway, we'll see you later. I miss you all.